This video I'm gonna make is about Spain, and this is actually a video that I always wanted to do, and I actually filmed a little bit in Spain, but didn't film as much as I wanted. But you can see a lot of my pictures in my YouTube video and on other places that I took in Spain. I mostly just stayed in Barcelona, and Spain, it's a country that I always wanted to visit. So those 3 months there really created an impact. It was just very, very exciting to be in Spain during the time that I was there. And as a kid growing up in Costa Rica, we had a lot of like Spanish literature. Like everybody knows about Don Quixote de la Mancha. I already knew about the languages spoken there, so we're trained on Spanish history, probably more than I knew more about Spanish history than probably many other European countries, just because they're not Spanish speaking. And I always have heard a lot about Spain. Spain is a very cool country. Spain has its geographical location makes it a country that has mild weather year-round and a lot of sun, and just because of the sun, it makes it just a very nice country to live in. Aside from that, there's not a huge problem with delinquency. There's not problems with major violence, major ethnic polarization, as there is in other countries. All these things make Spain a very good place to live in. It also has a lot of coastline, and not only that, it has a lot of mountains. It has mountains. It's, I think, the second most mountainous country in Europe after Switzerland. I think the third one is, I want to say Austria, and the fourth one probably Slovenia, but I have to double check. There's a lot of countries in Europe that are interesting but are not as mountainous, so this just gives the country like a nice relief when you're walking through it. All that being said, there's right now a lot of Hispanic people that are living there. There's a lot of competition because most of Latin America is right now a mess. So just making a living there right now is a little bit hard. That's why I did not stay there, and I don't necessarily regret that decision. It seems like just because there's so many people struggling, that creates a vacuum for exploitation, and I really did not want it to be part of that, unless I had like a clear option. So I stayed only the 3 months that I was required to stay there. So Spain is really there's three. I'm gonna pull out my map right now, so I can show you. Yeah, perfect. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Give me like 10 minutes because there might be somebody else coming.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Carry on.
Thank you. So here's Spain, and here are the Pyrenees. And the Pyrenees are relatively high mountains, but there's a very high mountain here called, this is the Sierra Nevadas. So Sierra Nevadas are also known from Colombia and from California, because the Spanish conquered those two areas originally. Remember, California was Spanish. And I think the Pico Mulhacén is the highest point in Spain, but there's a lot of mountains here near Madrid. Madrid is very mountainous. Here there's some mountainous Picos de Europa. And there are minor mountains here, but these are really the largest mountains. So all of this is Catalonia. This area here is Basque. This area here is Gallego. And somewhere else there's Catalan, Basco, and Gallego. And I think people call Valenciano another language. Some people call Asturiano another language. But it's really Madrid and Barcelona, the main cities. All that being said, Andalusia has like another strong identity. So it's a different area. Like Andalusia is where a lot of the there's a famous dancing. I think flamenco is Andalus. I think I want to say flamenco is Andalusiano, but I have to double check. And over here, there's Portugal, which is a separate country. All of these things being said, for whatever reason, Spain has a monarchy, like England. I believe it's a parliamentary monarchy, which means that they have a king, but the king doesn't really have a lot of leverage, even though he is veneered. All that being said, Spain does not have a strong economy. So the finance sector there's some finance sector doesn't really have a lot of exports, but wine right now is like not a huge thing. The tech sector is almost non-existent. There is some, but there's not a lot. So the economy, really a lot of the economy is just based on, like a city like Barcelona is 95% tourism. So now I'm gonna focus on Barcelona, where I spend a lot of my time. So Barcelona is a city facing the Mediterranean, and over here there are huge mountain peaks. These mountain peaks are the Pyrenees. Catalan is widely spoken, and there's, as I was talking about Scotland, there's a devolution. There's a devolutionary or a devolution movement. I'm not entirely sure what's the right word, to make Barcelona a separate area. And there's this constant struggle. They don't really separate. They're still part of. Same for other areas in England. Scotland is a lot more independent to Britain than Catalonia to Spain. But if you're in Spain and in Catalonia and you raise a Spanish flag, you get eyebrows. You have to raise a Catalan flag, and it has a long history. I talked a little bit about this in an article I wrote, but Barcelona actually was occupied by Moors, by Muslims some time ago. So really, when you are in Barcelona, the really cool things about Barcelona is like A, the history, B, the beach, C, the culture. And I think the Catalan culture is different and unique from the Spanish culture. And then you can go inside like markets like Mercado La Bocateria and just see a lot of the fisheries. It's just a very very Mediterranean culture, but it's just very unique. And this is the first time I was in a strictly Mediterranean country area like I was in Catalonia. There was a certain feeling of just going out, backpack in the middle of nowhere, and staying in vineyards in the northern part of Barcelona when I was traveling. That was really one of the best experiences that I had. It was quite a great experience. So going back to Barcelona. So here's Mercat La Bocateria. Here's Barceloneta. And all of these are beaches, and these beaches get very crowded. And here are Las Islas Balnearias Ibiza, where there's a lot of party. But if you're in Barcelona, what you want to focus on is on La Sagrada Familia, which is an amazing church that is it's associated with Gaudi. Gaudi was really the guy who planned it. And when you see it, you don't think that it's realistic that somebody built it. You feel like you're looking at a painting because it's just so big and has so much within the little base that it has. And then all around this area, this quarter here, the old quarter is just very beautiful. It has like all these alleys, all these streets. Here's the airport. And then just hanging out in all this area, it's quite a unique experience. Like you see all this, as opposed to England, and in my opinion, England has been prostituted by a lot of the chain stores, where you go to the high street and you see all the chain stores, and it just reminds me a little bit of some of the negative parts of the United States. But Spain has done a good effort at protecting that in the city centers, so you still feel like you're connected to a historic city in the city center, and this is quite cool. So I would hang out here. I would go and play basket on the side, and there's actually a metro around the area, and then there's main discotheques and nightlife in several different places. So you go to the discotheques, you go to see the nightlife. There are several parks. So there's a park, there's a Gaudí park that I'm forgetting the name, but this Parque Güell is actually very famous, and you can go to it. Has good views. And then over here, there's Tibidabo, which is one of the highest mountains up near Barcelona, and you can have this great view of all the Barcelona side. So as I was explaining about Barcelona, there is the city center, there is the beach, there's all the antique stores, there's all the art galleries in the old quarter, and there's all the all the architecture that you see associated with Gaudi in the area, which is why people come. And also they come for the party. Hope you like my video.